2 beers and I misplaced the second. All right.
Okay.
Right. Cheers.
All right.
Cheers.
I like the blue flavor.
Yeah, blue.
Blue's
I like
old school.
that flavored.
Give me
color too.
Gatorade.
I like that blue color flavor.
Welcome to the Movie Podium, a weekly podcast where we collectively choose a movie to watch, and at the end of the week, we get together and talk about it. It's kind of like a book club.
Movies. It's for movies.
But for movies.
There we go.
Breathe there.
Yeah, I did.
A little pretty. We also came up with a set of questions to ask ourselves as we watch the film, such as, is this a podium movie or a top 3 in the year of its respective release? I'm your host, Matt Scott. I'm here with my dudes, Daniel.
Heyo.
Eric.
Hello.
And hello, John.
Hello, John.
Hello, John.
Hello, John.
Hello.
This week, we're reviewing a film from our time travel bracket that may or may not have lost, and without further ado, we present our next movie.
Please. We need you to hope again.
Time travel with X-Men. Is there anything worse for Daniel? Yeah.
Yep. So, as I mentioned, this movie was entered into our time travel bracket, but it's obviously going to lose, or did lose, to Terminator 2. I don't think there's much debate
Spoiler
between
alert.
the two. You guys ready for some random ass facts?
Yeah.
No.
Ready to just go into it.
Get it.
This had a 7.9 on IMDb.
Is that higher than Thor?
It is higher than Thor, making it the second highest ranked X-Men movie on IMDb, only 0.2 or 0.2 behind Logan, believe it or not.
Wow.
They really stepped it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Logan was like a rated R drama, period piece sort of
Yeah.
thing.
Right, an actual kind of less comic book, more drama movie.
Yeah.
Something
Though
Kevin
usually
would eat
those
up.
don't get rated very high on IMDb, so kind of surprising both of those films being as high as they are.
It's not surprising John being as how as high as he is.
Take me higher.
So I mentioned the time travel aspect and our matchup, but I didn't even plan this. There are a lot of similarities between the two movies, and even so much so, and now it kind of makes a little more sense doing some half-ass research, but director Bryan Singer, said that he had a 2-hour discussion with Terminator director James Cameron about how to make the time travel concept feasible and workable within a film. Now it's kind of adding up because they are very similar, so much so that whoever it is going back in time to save humanity from machines or robots.
Yeah.
Something of their own creation.
And something of their own creation, right?
And Arnold Schwarzenegger is in both of them.
Yes.
Yeah, he plays Wolverine, right?
Yeah. He's
Something like
jacked
that.
like Arnold. He is
Yeah.
a huge jacked man.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
Well done, Johnny.
Another fact we've got is Peter Maximov's character, or Quicksilver. In the movie, there's a nod to his relation to Magneto, or it's implied. He actually looks at Magneto and he says, "My mom used to know someone that can manipulate metal."
Yeah.
Later
What's
on,
that character's name?
Quicksilver.
Quicksilver. Thank you.
And then later on, Peter's mother is horrified when she recognizes Magneto on TV. More hints that Quicksilver, or
Is
in
the
fact
son.
that, is the son of Magneto.
I wondered that when he made that first comment. Like, my mom
Yeah.
knew a guy like that.
Exactly. Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
This was a crazy one. This is the only time in the entire X-Men franchise where Charles Xavier uses another mutant's powers by controlling them. The only time it happens. And this is when he controls Magneto for just a moment to
get
remove the
thing off him.
debris that is
Yeah.
laying on him.
Okay,
It's the only time.
that's surprising.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and there are a bunch of movies.
Yeah, there's a ton.
Yeah, knowing that he could do that at any time, but for some reason doesn't.
He's just a good boy.
Is, pretty intriguing.
Just a good boy.
Yeah, he's like, only in extreme circumstances when I'm trapped under a big
Stadium.
steelwork structure. Yeah.
Sure.
Stay.
I need to get up.
All right, I got two more. In the comic Days of Futures Past, Mystique tries to assassinate Senator Robert Kelly, not Bolivar Trask. They didn't use Robert Kelly because he already appeared in the first X-Men movie, so they didn't want to kind of double dip and confuse you more.
Yeah, and he died in that movie too.
Yeah, which I guess doesn't... I don't know timeline-wise if it would have mattered, but still in our minds... Right, but in our minds he died, and they probably didn't want to confuse people. I think that was the right call.
Well, it would have made a paradox if she killed him in the past and he dies in X-Men 1. Because
Right.
they're both supposed to be the same timeline at that
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. He would have died already. All right, last
This
one.
time travel business is
I know. It's tricky.
Pay attention, John.
You travel, time, it's right on time, it's tricky!
It's tricky
All right.
to travel time.
Last one. Can anybody guess the body count?
Oh gosh.
370.
Lower,
50.
higher, in the middle. 61.
60. I was closer.
Yeah,
We should have
Eric was
killed
closer.
7, 8. No,
8 more.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you
8
for
more.
doing that.
I thought that was kind of high. I mean, Daniel, your guess is really high, but I thought even 61 was pretty high. I mean, I knew there were people that died in the movie, but like
a lot
for
of
a comic
mutants
book
too. I
Yeah,
don't know how
right.
many mutants, but
quite
I mean,
a bit.
that's kind of the point. They're all dying off.
Right.
They're being murdered, John. They're
Yeah.
not dying off.
Dying because of reasons.
What is it? Order 66 or something?
Yeah.
Wait, that was
Wrong reference.
Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just.
Cross. Hey, it's all
Same
owned
thing.
by Disney now.
Government
Yeah.
targeting someone for eradication.
Yeah, we're all
Tomato,
we're all in
potato.
the Disney world.
Yep. Welcome to Disney World.
All right, ready for the questions?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's do it. First question: favorite thing about the movie? All right, I'll go to you, Eric.
Oh god.
Oh God.
I like the way that they filmed Logan waking up after he had successfully went back in time after he drowned and everything. And how they this is a way better use of Dutch angles than fucking Thor. And it's it's not even like a Dutch angle, but it's like a swaying sort of thing. It kind of gives you the feeling that he's not quite with it yet.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really good.
Nice.
What's a Dutch angle, please?
A Dutch angle is when you sit you center a frame and you level it and then you just tilt it sideways.
Oh, okay.
So everything's tilted.
Okay, yeah.
No, the horizon goes like this, John.
Right, yeah. It's pretty much how I see things.
That's why you like Thor so much.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, you're talking about normal perspective here?
I don't get it.
Nice.
That was one of my two favorite things, Eric, is when he finally goes home, I guess.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh,
Yeah.
he sees Cyclops and Jean Grey, who he hasn't seen. It's like a nice reunion.
Right.
But he's
And
like,
then
all
Yeah.
right,
Professor X
we
is like-
are kind of back to normal.
Yeah, I like that a
Professor X
lot.
is pissed off because he's not teaching. He's
Yeah.
like, what do I teach? And then Charles finally comes to, he's like, you're back?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, catch me up, bro.
Yeah, I like that because when you were seeing that, this movie came out in 2014. The last we had seen some of these characters was 2006.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like, and back then, I mean, it was you weren't sure if you were gonna see Jean Grey again.
Yeah, or Cyclops. He was
or
dead.
Cyclops.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, seeing those guys back, and almost that warm, comforting feeling that, like, hey, nothing happened, or they're back, was really cool. And you don't really see that a lot. I mean, sometimes in comic book movies they'll do that, but this was a sure thing. I mean, they were ready for the next episode, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Like, you're not, you know, like, yeah, exactly. John, what was your other favorite thing?
So I liked, this is the same reason I really like Jurassic Park. And what I like is that both the good guys and bad guys are trying to control something natural. Bad guys are trying to control genetics. Good guys are trying to control time. And it's not something I feel like man is meant to meddle with. So they both have trouble basically playing God in different ways.
Yeah,
And
that's
what I thought was cool is, especially for the good guys, because they're trying to accomplish the mission, but
Yeah.
it's not a perfect. They're like, we're gonna try this. It's like a last-ditch effort. Goes, as good as you can hope, but it's like we can't exactly predict how this will turn out. But in the end, it does somehow work out in the good guy's favor, even though it's like, you may try and change time, but some things are inevitable. Like, it just may be out of your power, even as powerful as all these X-Men are. So, sort of the man versus nature element.
Yeah, that's a really, I like that answer a lot. And to touch on the, like, is it inevitable? There's a really good speech that the Beast gives on that. He's like, maybe, I can't remember the exact term he uses, but something like a river only flowing one way, and you can't really change that direction. Like, it's gonna
it's
keep
like
going
the
that way no
ripples
matter
eventually
what.
settle, and the river continues to do what the river does.
Yeah, when they start doing that, I nerd out. I'm like, oh, sweet, some time travel discussions. This is
it's
cool.
like they tried
is
to
this
fix
a theory?
it, but it bent back to the way it was.
Yeah, exactly. Daniel, what was your favorite thing?
I just wanted to add on that. There's an ending to one of my favorite games of all time, Chrono Trigger, where you're trying to change the past and the future, and you're trying to make sure that the apocalypse doesn't happen. And if you die, it does the cutscene of the world being destroyed, and it said the future refused to change. And I think that's really cool. Like, in that cool. Theming with, like, the river always flows. That's cool. That's a really cool just way to end it. That is technically like, that's an ending too.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But my two favorite things were Bone Claws and Quicksilver.
Yeah, Quicksilver's awesome.
Bone Claws were too. Because I forgot he
fair.
had non-metal claws.
Yeah, because that's the thing
like
about Logan is the bone claws and the healing factor and, like, the enhanced senses. That's like his mutation. Yep. The adamantium was added to him by Stryker, which is really cool that they have that through line in this movie where he's
that's right. The
he sees Logan and he's like,
Yep.
How can
and whoever, I think it's, Trask plants the idea in him. He's like, your son's 10 years, he's only 18 years old from fighting age.
That.
Yeah.
How old is your son now, Major?
Jason? He's coming up on 10 now, if you can believe it.
8 years from fighting age.
And plants that idea in him.
Yep. Nice. Yeah, I like a lot of the back in time, and my favorite thing is basically everything about them being back, or the entire, basically 90% of the movie when they are back in time. I just like that seeing the role reversal of Logan and Charles, and how normally Charles is the level-headed one trying to calm down Logan to stay on, task and not be a hothead.
Dig him out of rock bottom.
Yeah, right. And in this case, it's the complete opposite, where Logan's trying to help Charles get out of this and get out of this funk and, really make him realize that this is a life or death situation. And I like how they did that. That was really cool to see. And I really like how the stakes are really high. And again, the payoff is so awesome seeing all those guys alive again. But I like how the entire movie, the stakes feel high once they go back. Again, you can talk about the beginning, and I think you guys will, Daniel especially. But like once they go back in time and they're trying to get this or that, you're like, how is this going to end? You didn't really know. You assume that, they were going to win, and he was going to succeed going back in time, and everything was going to be fine. But you didn't know that Jean Grey and Cyclops were going to be there at the end. Like, as a viewer,
they
you had
lay
no
it out.
clue.
Like, here's what you do.
I assumed it was just going to be Kitty Pryde,
and it doesn't go that way.
Yeah, I assumed it was going to be very simple and less of a payoff. So that was I liked all the stuff back in time.
Yeah. Well, that basically retcons out that terrible third X-Men movie. By having Jean Grey and Cyclops still alive. It's like, maybe the third movie didn't happen. Maybe we can just ignore that.
Can we just sweep that one
nice.
under the rug?
Yeah, right.
And the Dark Phoenix episode too. That one's pretty rough.
Well, that one came after.
I know. Yeah. But still, can we erase that one too? Can we go back in time and take that one away?
All right. All we have to do is send someone back in time, and we'll cut out all the bad stuff.
That's
Kill Chris Claremont before he writes the Phoenix Saga.
Exactly. All right, next category. Least favorite part about the movie. Daniel?
The Sentinels look fucking stupid.
Which ones? The modern ones or the
modern ones.
initial ones?
The modern ones.
Yeah.
Listen, the Sentinels look goofy. They do. They always have in the comics. They do in the cartoon show. They look goofy. But there's they're a charming goofy. And when studios decide they're going to try and, like, make something hip and cool, so often you get crap like the Sentinels from the future, where they're like, ooh, they're like individual, like, pieces of metal that, like, open up and then a laser comes out of its face and then it can turn, and it's like, no, just give me the Sentinels, damn it. The Sentinels have
CGI
their charm
or whatever,
and, like, just have them shoot lasers out of their hands and, like, use, whips and stuff. Like, just do the classic Sentinels.
Leave well enough alone.
Yeah. Like, I know it's going to look goofy, but these new ones look like they were trying to be cool.
Yeah.
Which is worse than just looking, like, leaning into the cheese of the classic Sentinels. Because to me, there's nothing worse than trying to be cool. Like, there's nothing less cool than trying to be cool.
I agree.
Like, if you're cool, you're just cool.
It's
but
just
like,
cool.
If I threw on, like, a leather jacket and bomber glasses and a white T-shirt and rolled up cigarettes in my sleeve, like, you guys would be like, the fuck are you doing?
You're not cool.
That's not me. So that's not
Where
cool.
did Daniel
You know what I
go?
mean?
And who's this badass right here?
John, what was your least favorite thing?
First thing I'll go with is the subtitle. In this, maybe it's confusing, and at the first sight of confusion, I'm just lost. But yeah, Days of Future Past, not a great subtitle. I feel like it maybe could have been written by a kid and sounds cooler to a kid.
Yeah, that's the name of the actual comic that it was based off of. So.
That's what I figured. Yeah. I'm like, this has to come from
whoever wrote that. It wasn't Stan Lee, right?
No, I think it was Claremont.
Oh, okay.
Or it might have been right after Claremont's run, but it was definitely in that like 80s, early 90s rebirth of.
So yeah, that explains why they had to stay true to it. But I'm like, man, this subtitles kind of sounds dumb.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
It was to attract all the heads like me, all the
Right.
Days of Future
Here it is
Past.
in film form.
Oh, I will go see that movie, and I'll tell all my friends to go see that movie.
What was your other least favorite thing, John?
Oh, the other thing was some of the anachronisms, which I know you cannot keep track of in a time travel movie. I'll just name one of them, which is the baseball stadium. There's a groundskeeper working on a baseball stadium in Washington, D.C. It looks like Magneto comes in, tears everything up. However, this is 1973, and the Washington baseball
Senators.
team had moved to Texas to become the Rangers in 1971, so there would be no reason to be preparing a Major League Baseball field for play in 1973.
Unless it
You'd
was in
be all right if
Baltimore.
it was just an empty husk, but because he was the groundskeeper was there, you're like, no.
I'm like, no!
What if it was in Baltimore? It was across the river.
It could have been in Baltimore. That's
I don't
very
know.
plausible because
Yeah, I don't know when
very
Camden Yard
close.
went up, so I can't.
Oh,
I
they
can't.
were in the area in the 70s for sure.
No, it
I
looked
like-
like where Washington's football
It did.
team plays, actually.
Yeah,
FedEx Field.
Yes.
it probably was. I mean, from a film.
Which I don't know
standpoint.
if they ever had a
They probably
baseball
actually
team playing
filmed.
there either. But, like I said, this is easy to go for in time travel movies when there's a lot to keep straight.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure you could pick a lot of convoluted plot points and or story or facts like that for sure.
It gets messy.
It does get messy. Eric, what about you?
I had a couple things. Number one was the pacing of this movie. It felt like two movies that were squished together, but both of those movies were paced slow. And so, like, the whole thing just felt like it drug on for me. I realize that's I'm probably in the minority here, but that was my least favorite thing. And then also just Magneto. Like, every fucking X-Men movie is Magneto saying, like, hey, I'm not the bad guy. I'm on your side. I won't hurt you. And then immediately he's not on your side. He's fucking bad.
That's you just can't change some.
Yeah.
I agreed with your first dislike.
I can
but it
tell who
was
I'm being
just a
cast
smidge.
as.
I was gonna say I have a feeling.
You don't know. What are you saying, John?
Oh, I said I agreed with your first dislike that it is a scotch long.
Yeah,
A scotch. Good God, you're so
Um,
old sounding.
I didn't. So for my least favorite thing, I didn't really have a ton. Like John, you could pick out some of those little facts. I mean, sure, I'm sure you can find some of that, but I'll just hop on the "it's a little too long" train. There's a couple scenes that are unnecessary. I mean, it is 2.5
Very.
hours, so I will
Yeah.
give you that. I enjoy this movie a lot, and I don't care about time as much, but
Yeah.
I will say that you could find there's a couple scenes in there that I could point out that you could just not have. I mean, that aren't relevant. And yeah, there's some of the times. I mean, you could probably cut this at 2:15, and it could feel like
Yeah.
2 hours instead
Yeah,
of
that's-
feeling like 3 hours.
Exactly. It felt like a lot longer than 2.5 hours.
I think
Sure.
Bryan Singer has a problem with this though, because
Yeah,
I just watched Apocalypse today, which is the sequel to this movie, and
it's probably around the same length, right?
Yeah, but it also feels like it's 15-20 minutes too long,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it also has the thing that you don't like, which is Magneto going like,
Look
I'm
at
good.
me, guys.
I'm
I'm
evil.
changed.
I'm good."
That's the
Because at the
You
end of
were
every
all
episode,
mistaken.
like Magneto gets away after doing something evil, but
Yeah.
he did something good. So
Yeah.
whose side is he on?
Hey, he had a shitty childhood.
Right. He's, especially in this movie,
He's
you
battling.
kind of like see, like, all right, I understand where he's coming from, but he's fucked up.
Yeah,
His
I mean,
ideas
he's
are kind of fucked up too.
yeah. I was gonna say he's got a tough backstory. So
Happens
I
when
can
you
see
get
it.
caught up in the Holocaust.
And people murder your family, so I get it. But no, that's funny that you say that. It's definitely what happens every time.
Yeah, every fucking time.
I mean,
And like Apocalypse, I was just like, really?
Again? Why not just make him the bad guy from the start?
Yeah. Well, I mean, in X-Men 1, his thing is the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
yeah, that's
Well-
him. But that's him as an older person or older
Right.
guy. So
Right.
this is after this is all formed. Then he decides he's after he's gone through the ringer, he decides he's the old bad guy.
Wait,
Yeah,
which
I'm just
ringer?
saying,
Are you
I'm
talking
just
about the
saying that
Holocaust?
You should never name your own thing evil. Want to pretend to have any moral high ground, which Magneto pretends to want to have. He always goes like, Charles, your way won't work. My way is the only way to ensure the survival of the mutant race. Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
I mean, what else do you expect from a guy who was basically victimized by his government on, like, ethnic/genetic lines? He's
No,
like,
the-
all right, we need to kill them before they kill us.
My thing is, like, his justifications make him super interesting. My
Right.
problem with it is that he calls his group the Brotherhood of Evil.
Evil mutants. And if he's trying to do anything other than be evil,
Right.
Yeah,
it doesn't make
I-
sense.
makes sense or doesn't. But I got you.
I'm starting to think this guy's evil.
I don't know. I might give him another chance.
Yeah, I think we should.
All right, next category. Who won the movie? I'll go first. I said X-Men won this movie.
Me too.
Yeah, and particularly everyone who was saved, like Cyclops and Jean Grey.
Some things never change.
Prior to this movie, half the X-Men had died from other storylines in either this movie, the previous 4 movies. So we already talked about how cool it was to see Wolverine realize that he had saved all these guys' lives.
Logan, is everything all right?
Yeah.
And so from that standpoint, I would say X-Men, and also from a franchise standpoint, beginning with First Class, I thought First Class was great as well. And then this one comes in and follows up with a pretty entertaining sequel, and I really like this one. And so kind of a race, as we talked about The Last Stand, which was not great. It was really embarrassing.
Oh,
And
that's
I love
a
the
friendly
X-Men
way
movies.
to put it.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm trying to be nice.
Yeah.
And so I think that from a franchise standpoint and from a literal in the movie standpoint, the X-Men won this.
Yeah.
Eric, you said
I-
similar? Something
Actually, I
similar?
said mutants,
Mm,
not X-Men specifically, just mutants.
nice.
That was
Speaking
my
of
exact
mutants.
answer, the mutants.
I've got
Oh.
a top 5.
Oh!
Last week, I did top 5 mutants, and then Dave gave
Yeah.
me the idea of mutations, and I was like, that's a great idea.
Ooh.
I'm going to do that
All
next
right.
time I get a chance to. And here we are, doing X-Men.
that-
So I've got the
That's a
chance.
great idea. That
So
that
this
idea is mine
top
now.
5 mutations. Thank you, David.
Nice.
Number 5, I have walking through walls.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a
Number-
pretty cool one.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Number 4, I have magnetism.
Mm.
Because
What-
if I had magnetism, I would just go, like, fly around the world and just pick up Tress of Cheshire and be like, okay, this treasure's mine. I'm rich as fuck now.
Go to the bank, be like, I'd like to deposit this, please.
Yes. These 5 million gold doubloons, I would like to deposit directly in my checking account, please. Number 3 is mind reading, because then I could play poker and just win a billion and stop playing poker, and then, bada bing, bada boom.
I love
I'm
where
rich.
this list
There we
is
go.
going.
Yeah.
Number 2, healing factor.
Yeah.
So healing factor, I could just get into real sports and just win because I'm healthier than everyone else.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
Yeah.
I'd be a boxer and they'd beat the crap out of me and I'd just heal up.
Homer.
And they'd get tired. I'd Muhammad Ali them. They'd beat on me for, 10 rounds. And then in the 11th, I'd come out and punch them like 3 times. And they'd just be like, dude, fine. Quit. And then I'd make $1 million.
Simpsons did it.
And number 1, teleportation. Because I would like to be anywhere I wanted to be, whenever I wanted to be, instantaneously. So,
Nice.
Banff,
Yeah.
into Fort Knox. Take some gold, bam, I'm home.
I like how this just revolves around you being rich.
Hey,
how do you get rich?
I'm on his page for sure. I think that's
this
why
is
I would.
how
Yeah.
a real
Yeah.
person thinks about how
Yeah.
they would use their mutations.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I
Also-
totally agree.
Yeah. Also, teleportation. Like, what's the worst part about traveling? Is the actual traveling. Like,
Yeah.
Driving.
airport, in
Yep.
the plane, landing, getting your luggage.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
if you just
teleport.
take your bag and go, bamf, and then you're in, at grandma's house or whatever. You're just there with your bag.
Yeah.
Bada bing, bada
Like-
boom. You want
There
to
we
go
go.
visit Tommy in Houston? Bamf.
There you
Sailor's
are.
going to bark at you, but there you are, right there.
It's like, hey, Tommy.
Yeah.
I do think that's how a normal person would think about like having a mutation. Because
100%.
Got out to
we
save
see,
the world.
yeah, we see all of these movies, and it's either they're saving the world, or in Magneto's case, they're killing all of the human. Like, there's always some like.
But that's still his
Extreme
version
plot.
of
And
saving the world.
I get it; it's a comic, so that's why. But like, if it were real life,
Yeah,
I would want a lot of money.
If
and
I
do
was
nothing.
the only superpowered, if there were like bad guys and stuff, like not bad guys that are faceless voids or like
Right.
ideas, which is where the real world is. It's like
Right.
you take out a dictator, his general's gonna take his place or whatever.
Right.
But like if there were like superhero bad guys that I could just, or super villains, excuse me. I could
Like
just
Peter
go
Parker.
like, then I might be more apt to go like, yeah, I'd bamf over there and fight that guy. But if I was the only one with powers, any
Just
of
for a
these
challenge.
I would try and get rich.
Yeah.
Right. No, I think you're converting me to feel like if I had superpowers, I'd be a bad guy. I would be using them for good. But I'd try and not be on the radar of the superheroes. I'd be
I would
like,
try to
"I'm
steal
just
money
using
from
my
the
powers
rich."
to steal
Yeah.
ding-dongs like Quicksilver.
Yeah, exactly. I would steal it from the rich.
Right.
John, why do you have a closet full of ding dongs here? I was hungry, dude.
I do really love that guy. And I didn't know his name till Daniel told me.
Yeah.
Thought I said it.
Someone did.
Someone did, but I had this whole time. I'm like, okay, who is this guy's name? Someone
Pete.
tell me. I had to get brave enough to ask.
That's funny. John, did you say who won the movie? Did you have
Mutants.
X-Men? Mutants.
I had
Yeah,
Logan.
Daniel? Logan.
I had Logan.
Oh yeah, that's
Specifically, because
Yeah, that makes
it's
sense.
a big Logan movie. I mean, all the
Yeah, it
X-Men
is.
movies are pretty Logan heavy.
they are.
He's like the main character in all the movies, but
He is the X-Man.
But like this one is very much so because he's the only one who can stop the impending doom, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude,
Nice.
how much would it suck to be pierced by rebar and then thrown in the water?
And just drown like crazy. Oh, so bad.
The thing about
that's
that
fucking
scene
brutal.
is it looks like the way like the rebar's all bent out of him looks
Yeah.
like a panel from the comics where Magneto got
Yeah.
pissed off at Wolverine and tore the adamantium off of his bones, but
Ooh.
didn't like tear it all the way out. Just like tore it out so there were just like these metal shanks sticking out of Logan's body, and he's like,
Oh
yeah, I
God.
read
Yeah.
that. I read
It's
that
brutal.
was supposed to be like a nod to that.
Yeah, it definitely looked
Mm-hmm.
similar to what he looks like in the movies.
Yep,
Yeah,
Or
it was
in the
pretty
comic
fucking
when
brutal.
that happens.
for
Yeah.
sure.
That's when you
Alright.
learned in the comics that Wolverine had bone claws.
Right, and then I mean, when Magneto does stuff like this, you remember, like, oh yeah, he is a bad guy.
He's real terrible.
Maybe he is a bad guy this whole time.
Yeah, that's pretty
He's just
bad.
an interesting one. That's the thing. About him. He's not like. He's not a good guy. He is a bad guy.
Right, because he
But
does
he's an
it. He's
interesting
just
bad
like, all right, I'm doing this to you. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah, which makes him an actual good bad guy.
Yeah.
He actually fucking does it. Damn it! Tired of the
complicated.
James
Yeah, right.
Bonds. Oh, I'm not gonna kill James Bond. I'm just gonna put him in another room. I wonder what's gonna happen. Kevin's not even here. What are you gonna do? All right, next category: favorite song, moment, or score scene. Let's see. There's not a ton to choose from. Eric?
I had the Quicksilver scene when I think it's called "Time in a Bottle."
Yep.
If I could save time in a bottle.
That song was playing.
Nice.
Love that scene.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
Jim Croce.
All of Quicksilver's parts, yeah, just
Oh, he's so good.
so good.
Yep. Daniel, did you have a different?
I had. It's when they're going to France, and you can just hear it on a radio. It's "Stop in the Name of Love," but it's in French.
Yeah.
Yes,
I did
yes.
like that. Yep. That was cool. John?
Roberta Flack.
Yep.
First time I ever saw your face when he's waking up in the past and the
The
present.
first time. And the, yeah. Yeah, nice. I think it's called First Time I Saw You.
Yeah.
But
Get it right, John.
Sorry.
same thing. That was I had it as well. That's the only reason I know. I wrote it down. But yeah, I like that song, and Roberta Flack rules.
Yeah, that and Time in a Bottle are both very nice songs.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
The
Very
soundtrack was
chill.
very chill.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. That was definitely how I would define the soundtrack. Next we have, does this movie get made now? So it is a comic book movie. So I would say
Yes.
yes. Now, a part of me thinks that there might be a time where comic book movies might not be greenlit as much, where the budgets keep getting higher and higher and they're trying to not have high budgets. And the last few comic book movies have not been very successful, right? Now, they're all very of a certain type. Like
Mhm. Like
the
not the big
Marvels.
names.
Yeah, the Marvels and
Yeah.
Spider-Woman, or what it was, the
Madam Web.
Madam Web. I mean, those are not going to be as big of a hits, and I think we all could have predicted that, right? But
And the thing
is there a time? Oh no, yeah, I was just saying, is there a time where that budget's going to be too high to greenlight something? Daniel?
eventually, but that time isn't now.
Yeah.
And Fox just got folded into Disney a few years ago.
Mhm.
So we're going to see X-Men in the MCU proper. So that is when that happens, that's going to be a money printing machine, because people are going to go like, "Ooh, Captain America hanging out with Cyclops. Crazy."
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wonder
Well, I
when
mean-
that gets tiring, though. That's what I'm like.
Well, yeah,
it's-
but
you're right,
I mean,
it's
to
not
some
now.
people- yeah.
X-Men is such a big one that they have, that X-Men is going to probably reinvigorate the superhero genre for,
Yeah.
I don't
could see
know,
it.
the MCU for at least a couple of movies that they're in, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense. I'll
Well,
watch them.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like like Daniel said, the time will come when budgets are too high, but I feel like there are a lot of other names that get less budget before they have to cut X-Men of any sort. So I think this doesn't have, like, if they want to make another X-Men movie, then yeah,
I mean
they got it.
Yeah, no, that's true, and they are throwing out Wolverine with Deadpool, which again we're pretty excited about, and that's like coming out next week now?
Yeah, Friday.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, the 26th.
That's cool. Dang.
Could be the first of many. I don't know if there's history between X-Men and other characters. Daniel sure does.
Well,
there definitely
Deadpool,
is.
obviously, from the X-Men, or from the Deadpool movies, crosses over with the X-Men all the time. You just never see anyone but Colossus and Megasonic.
Because they could, and they make a joke about it.
Yeah, they don't have the budget for the real X-Men.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
It's great because that joke is paid off in Deadpool 2, which I just watched the other day, where he's talking about how they don't have the budget, and behind him a door is open, and all the X-Men are in there, and then they close the door before he can see them.
That's awesome.
I forgot about that. I need to go back and watch that one.
Yes, that's what I like about this podcast is we watch one of these movies that is kind of in a universe or a sequel of a movie, and I'm like, oh man, now I need to go watch the next one, like Daniel did with Apocalypse too.
Yeah,
just to kind of like refresh my memory. A lot of these, I mean, I watch one time and then it's out the door, right?
Yeah, this was my first step back into the X-Men cinematic universe in a long time.
Yeah, same here.
Same. Next we have favorite line from the movie. All right, Daniel, go first.
So, you were always an asshole?
So you were always an asshole.
As said by Logan to Magneto on the plane.
Love it. See? He knew, Eric.
Yeah.
He knew he was always an asshole.
Exactly.
Somebody knows. Eric, what about you?
I didn't write anything down, but the thing that stuck with me was when Wolverine and Beast were, I think they were walking in the rubble or something, and Beast is like, hey, in the future, do I make it?
Oh, yeah.
And Logan's like, no. And then he's like, but we can change that, right?
I want to know.
Oh, that's right. He does say that, yeah.
In the future, do I make it? No.
Oh, okay.
And then he like pushes him again, and he's like, no.
It's like, all right, you die.
Fine.
Sorry.
You die. John?
I've got two. I'm going to take the one that I feel like is less likely to be yours, Matt. But when they're in the White House, I think it is, and Logan has an episode where he's, losing it, like he's getting too enraged and might fall out of time or whatever.
Okay, yeah. The Trask meeting.
Yeah. Professor X is trying to, explain to him, where he is or why he's disoriented.
Yeah.
And he tries, the correct explanation, and that doesn't work, so he changes tactics, and that's when he says, you're on acid. Someone gave you really bad acid.
You're on acid. Somebody gave you really bad acid.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He adds at the end, do you buy this? The part that really gets me about that line.
Nice.
And
I
it's
do
the
like
70s.
that scene.
Yeah.
It's the 70s, exactly. I do like that scene. I said, just because someone stumbles and loses their way doesn't mean they are lost forever.
Just because someone stumbles, loses their way, it doesn't mean they're lost forever.
I like this obviously because the movie's overarching theme is about giving people a second chance, and that sums it up pretty well. I mean, there's so many people trying to get a second chance in this, not just the obvious with Mystique, right? But everybody in the movie has something going on, and so I like how that quote kind of sums it up.
Magneto's on 16th chance.
Yeah, that's fair.
He's like, I promise I'm good this time. I've learned my lesson.
I mean, I think he was lost forever a long, long time ago.
Well, in his defense, he did
you
try
can't
and
ever
stop
consider
JFK
him
from getting
totally lost.
assassinated.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
What, Daniel?
I said he did try and stop JFK from getting assassinated.
He did.
That was another funny part to me, was that the fact that JFK was a mutant.
Oh yeah, I do think that's hilarious.
That was pretty funny.
I also read that this was the second comic book movie to include Richard Nixon. Daniel, do you remember what the first is?
Watchmen.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah,
watched
when I
that
read
the
that,
other
I was
day,
like,
so I knew
oh,
that.
did you?
That was like fresh in my mind.
I remember that too, though. Like when I read that, I was like, oh yeah, definitely. I'm just kind of surprised it was the only other one at that point. It's like, oh,
Well, a lot
it's
of them don't
Nixon.
take place in the past, you know?
Well, that's true.
Cause
Yeah,
like,
that's fair.
Because Watchmen takes
Dude.
place in the 80s, and he's been president
Yeah.
for like 8 terms.
Right, it's
or
a
something like that.
dystopian future, right?
Right.
Do they
Past or
frequently
whatever.
use real people like
Uh,
Richard Nixon?
Sometimes, but
Okay.
Like Reagan's,
but you're right on that.
Reagan's in this one.
Mhm.
Like they don't have an actor doing
Yep.
Reagan, but they have the montage. Oh no, that was Apocalypse. Never mind.
well, we'll have to
Same
watch
thing.
it.
I mean, yeah.
I just watched
That's
it today, so I got it. My
fresh.
wife.
Any other lines, John? Was that the other one that I had?
There's one where he's trying to prove who he is, and he extends his bone claws.
Mm.
I forget who it was, responds with, "It's cool, but it's disgusting."
Yeah, I like that. That is good. All right, we got most rewatchable scene next. And why do I get the feeling that we all have the same answer? Daniel.
Quicksilver in the kitchen, man.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a sweep, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew it. I
Right.
fucking knew it.
Yep.
It's
I
the
knew
coolest
it.
scene
I
in the
just had-
movie.
Is a way just to spend them with you. If I could.
It's
He's like
yeah,
gently
phenomenal.
pushing bullets around.
Yeah.
He stops to do whatever he wants, and
It's-
like
I love
tastes
the
sauce.
knocking
So
the hat
good.
off is a
Yeah.
trademark
Yeah.
of his that I love.
I think it's just such a well-rounded shot scene, like from a beautiful standpoint, but also humorous. Like
Yeah.
obviously all the things that we talked about, like he makes it funny, but he also does the thing that they're trying to get it to be done. Like he does exactly that, and so like balancing where it's not too over the top goofy, like Wacky Sax isn't playing, but there are parts of that where it's like, oh yeah, he does the hat and he messes with the bullets, and then all the food goes flying. Like, oh, that's such a good scene. And
Yep.
any scene with him in it, I might add, like I think we already talked about, like even when they go go find him in his mom's basement, like all of that's so good. That Quicksilver is amazing. I wish there was more of him. He
I've
needs
been
his
here
own
all day.
film.
Yeah.
He's such a better character in this universe than he was in the MCU. Because he was just in Age of
Was he in?
Ultron, and it was not.
Oh,
a great
I
movie,
barely.
guys.
See, I don't remember. I've obviously saw that movie, but I do not remember his role in that. So
Yeah,
that
he and
tells you.
Wanda are twins in that because they're actually in the comics. They're Magneto's kids.
Yeah,
Wa-
along
Scarlet
with
Witch and,
Scarlet Witch. Yep.
Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver.
Yep.
But Scarlet Witch is the only one who comes over through the main Avengers series because
Gotcha.
Quicksilver dies saving people in Sokovia. He gets
okay.
a bullet while he's running around saving people. And they don't handle the super speed nearly as cool as they do in this movie.
Yeah, this was. I mean, yeah, that's so funny. I knew that would be all of ours. I just had a feeling.
Yeah.
Also, another scene that I really liked that I like watching, or I would watch over again, is when Magneto takes the Sentinels and has them attacking. That kind of gives you that animated series or the comic book feel, like, oh, this reminds me of what I like, the video game I play. You know, like
Yeah.
that throwback. It definitely gave me the feels from that.
Shit's going wild.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, those Sentinels look hokey and old, but, like, they look like Sentinels.
They're fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're fine.
They do the job.
Yeah.
That doesn't make me, like, I'm not like, oh, they're trying to be cool. I'm like, no, look at those
Yeah.
Sentinels. Those are Sentinels.
Yep. Yeah, I would agree with that.
I do have another one that I will mention, and I've
Yeah.
mentioned it before, but it's when Wolverine gets impaled by the rebar, and then Magneto just sends him off into the water.
It's pretty cold.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right.
awesome.
It is cold as ice, though. It is cold to just be like, yeah, you're going to sink and drown. In the most pain you possibly
Bye.
can be. See ya.
Yeah.
After
Yeah, I
they've
didn't
like
think
gone.
before that, I'm like, I guess he can actually drown.
Yeah. Kind of.
Yeah, kind of.
Well,
he lives.
yeah, almost.
Spoiler.
Spoiler
Um,
alert.
And it's also funny how cold it is considering he knows Logan. Like, I mean, they were on the plane. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're with each other the entire time. It's not like, hey, you're good, I'm bad. Like, it was like, we're trying to save humanity. Never mind, fuck you. Like,
Yeah.
cold as
Classic
ice.
I'm actually the bad guy.
Yeah, well, heal's gonna
He's
heal.
getting fooled. But he's always turns out to be bad guy.
Oh my god. All right, next category. Most likely to be the off-screen drunk. Well, since he's not here, or Dave, Kevin is the off-screen drunk.
Cabin.
And he's not here. So, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's the Oscar drunk tonight.
Yeah. Next
I-
question.
Right. I did say a young Professor X had my answer because
That's
he
fine.
can't handle being in his own skin, which is a telltale sign of a drunk.
Yep. Charles. I just put Charles.
Yep.
He's in harder stuff than alcohol.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah,
fair.
when he was shooting
Fair.
up with that serum, I'm like, because the
That was
old
cool.
Professor X was like, I was a very different man back
Yeah.
then. When he's shooting
Yeah.
up with that, I'm like, oh god, he's doing heroin.
He warned you,
I
John.
thought he was doing heroin too. I was like, damn,
Yeah.
this movie's darker than I remember.
Anybody else have anybody?
I
That's
said
correct.
Wolverine. Yeah,
Oh,
I said
yeah,
Wolverine
Wolverine's
because he doesn't drink on camera, and I'm sure he does.
He does.
And is
He
a drunk.
smokes cigars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Isn't there a scene in the first X-Men where he drinks and he can't get drunk or something? Is that the original X-Men movie?
Oh, is it because like his body heals him too?
Yeah,
quick
like when
for
he's at the bar or something. I
drunkenness
can't remember. It's
to
been so
do its thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, that's a good answer. That's a pretty low-hanging fruit, I would say.
Yeah.
That might be Captain America you're thinking of. In Captain America, he drinks and can't get drunk.
Really?
Yeah. After everyone's like taken away,
I remember. Yeah.
he's at a bar with, or Peggy finds him in a bar, and he's trying to get drunk, and he just can't get drunk because his metabolism is too high.
Maybe
And
that's what
he's
it
like
is. Yeah, I
intent
can't
on
remember.
getting drunk. He's like, God damn it!
Right. It's too
Well, he'd
hard.
never say that because he's Captain America.
Yeah.
He's like, doggone it.
Yeah.
Dag nabbit.
Yeah. He'd say words you say, John.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Well, fiddlesticks.
Maybe I should just drink a scotch more.
Yeah. You have a root beer?
Well, this one will be fun because we get to cast ourselves as X-Men. Next category, casting our friends. All right, Eric.
It's Daniel as Magneto because of all the fucking heel turns. Every time you're like, okay, well he says he's good, okay, and then fucking 3 hours into, I don't know, a board game or something, Daniel turns on you, and you're like, you motherfucker.
what? I'm the bad guy.
It's hilarious.
The last board game we played together, I was Big Po Peep because I couldn't
Yeah.
get anything but cheap and Catan.
Oh,
Ooh,
It's
that's
true.
Rough. That's a
And
rough
that got
one to
me
keep
angry
getting.
at
Yeah.
Kevin. Because,
Yeah.
Kevin didn't make it any easier on me.
No. That's the only one that I had, though. I had a difficult time doing this one.
Oh, I've got a
Nice.
few.
All right, Daniel.
Okay, so for Wolverine, I have Matt because he's very goal-driven and he's swole.
Goal and swole,
Magneto.
baby.
For Magneto, I have Kevin because his heart might be in the right place, but he has bad methods.
Yes.
And he argues with me, or with Professor Xavier all the time. For Professor Xavier, I have me because I'm idealistic, but I don't do a whole lot with my idealism, and I argue with Kevin all the time.
That is a good combo. That's a good combo.
that's funny. Yeah.
For Beast, I have Eric because he's super smart and supportive. For Mystique,
I'll take that.
I have Dave because hot.
Yeah.
And he's good at blending in. Like, Dave's a social chameleon. He can blend in and just hang out with anybody. Like,
Yeah.
That's fair.
he's good at being
I like that.
like finding like, okay, here's our common ground. We'll talk about this. Like if he's around a bunch of skateboarders, he'll talk about skateboarding. If he's music people, he'll talk about music. Whatever. He just has a good way of blending in socially.
Yeah, I like that.
It's a superhero power.
And then for Quicksilver, I have John, because, duh.
Ding dongs.
Ting dongs.
What can I use my powers for?
I would
Smack
love to
on
see.
rip, even faster.
I would love to see what you would use your Quicksilver powers for.
Oh man,
So much.
be awesome.
Probably
He'd
to
make
work
himself
at
a
normal
sandwich.
speed. Yeah.
Like, Like
Any
5
disc
feet
that went
high.
off,
Any disc.
any disc that went off course, he'd go right there, come back.
Oh my god.
I'm like, fuck, I shanked it. Run down into the woods and catch it.
no, you just gently push it. So the
Yeah.
curvature
Oh, yeah,
would
that's
be
true.
back on.
Yeah. No, it went into the basket.
Your partner's
Nice.
like, dude, that was going right. The basket's on the left, and somehow it went in. How did you do that? Oh. Serious
Magic.
curve, bro.
We're everywhere. Those mutants.
Well, good job, Daniel. That was good.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Thank you.
John, do you have anybody?
Matt, you're Wolverine because you're a huge
Shocker.
jacked man like Hugh Jackman.
Nice.
Goal and swole, baby.
Yeah, Eric is Professor X because of his beautiful bald head.
Yep.
Daniel is Trask because I feel like he's the true bad guy of this movie. Kelv, I have as Mystique because he's the one that we're all trying to be like, hey, Kevin!
Don't do that.
He's just
Holy crap,
he's
that's so
doing his
good.
own thing. He's
Kevin's
like,
gonna do his own thing no matter what
I
you tell
heard
him.
your advice, but I'm rejecting it.
Man, that is really, really good.
And
Oh,
kind
that's
of as
fucking-
the odd man out, I had Dave as Magneto. Michael Fassbender's handsome. Dave's handsome. It works.
That's
John,
hilarious.
the way you can say that is "cause hot."
Cause hot.
Cause hot.
Yeah,
Short and sweet.
Yeah, that's how I do it.
Nice.
it is efficient.
Well,
Yeah, that was
Well done,
fucking
John.
Kevin as Mystique
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
yeah.
Because we're all just like,
100%.
no, Kevin, don't do that.
Yeah.
Kevin's like, oh, boy, got to do it.
Kevin, don't assassinate that man. Fuck you.
I'm gonna do it anyway. You told me not to. That means I'm gonna do it even more.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
even
Trolling.
harder.
Yeah, exactly. I also had Dave as Magneto, but mainly just because there's a line when Peter asks him if he knows karate, and Magneto just goes, I don't know karate, but I know crazy. And it's a jackass joke that I think of, and so I just thought of Dag on that one, or Dave. I had John as Quicksilver for the same obvious. I mean, duh. I had Daniel as the Beast, an introvert thinker that's mostly, ironically, from his namesake, a softie.
Yeah.
I like it.
Also,
I like
an
that
introvert. I have Eric as Wolverine because he'd rather be alone than in a large group of fellow mutants. He's also a good teammate who is observant and clear thinking.
That's
What if
that's
I need to get
true.
Rocky?
So my fellow introverted friends.
Yeah.
And then that's all I had. I didn't really have anything for Kevin, so I really like John's mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't do it. I'm gonna do it.
That's so funny.
He's the one
God.
jumping out the window, and we're like, God damn it, Kevin!
Come back.
He's basically he's the anti-John. John's the one that you tell to do something, and John's like, guess I'll climb up a building. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm hammered, but that's fine. I'll climb up a building. Kevin, you're like, whatever you do not climb that building. You will fall. And then he'll climb that building, and then he'll fall.
Tell me what to do. Yeah.
Like, the bad outcome will happen, and you're like,
Yeah.
you could have seen that coming, except everyone.
Yeah,
Everyone in
we
your family
told you.
Yep. 100%. All right. Well, we've got two more categories: our podium moments or roles, and our podium for tonight. So first, we've got: is this a podium role for any of the top billed cast members?
Podium role.
Do you mean podium movie?
Yeah. Oh my God.
X-Men 1,
So
and then X-Men
yeah, I was gonna say
6,
which is
and then X-Men 2, and this one is Outside Looking In.
yeah, which one is on Hugh Jackman's? Oh man, I would say yes to Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, right? I mean,
Yes.
he's known for Wolverine, and he was up for best actor in Les Mis. Those are really his two biggest moments from an acting standpoint. No, he's in other big movies, but we
So
know
is
him as
this
those
his
two things.
best Wolverine movie?
If we were going there, I would say Logan. But I haven't seen Logan in a while.
Yeah, I haven't seen Logan at all, so I'll say that one probably.
Yeah. This is probably my favorite X-Men movie, though. Again, I have to go back and watch them all, but I would say I like this sort of First Class.
I think they came out at a bad time and maybe got sort of overlooked. The X-Men movies.
Yeah. These ones, the second, the pre or whatever you want to call it.
The initial.
The prequels.
Yeah,
The
the
threequels.
second match did get overshadowed because by that point, the Marvel MCU was in full swing. So this was always...
and they weren't a part of it.
Yeah, this stuff, First Class, Days of Future Past, Apocalypse, and Dark Phoenix all felt like, who cares? Let's wait until the MCU gets the X-Men. Then I'll give a crap about the X-Men movies. Not to say that they didn't make a bunch of money, but they just weren't as culturally relevant as like those first three X-Men movies were.
I would agree. 100%. I would agree with that. Moving down the list, Patrick Stewart or Charles Xavier.
Yeah.
I would say it's this and Jean-Luc Picard. I mean, that's pretty much it.
Picard doesn't count because he's TV.
True.
They did make movies, but it's more of
that's true.
It's more of a TV
before
role.
TV, he must have been a stage actor.
He was in some
the Royal
movies,
Shakespeare
but
Company.
Yeah,
right. And he was in a few movies. I look back, but nothing really to note where it was like, it was him. He was in Robin Hood Men in Tights, but that was in the 90s, so that's not old. Going down the list, we have James McAvoy.
Yep.
I said
Oh,
no.
is that young Professor X?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's
I
been
think
in...
it was pretty good for him.
Yeah, this one's pretty good debate, or a good debate, because he's been in some pretty big Oscar bait movies.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a really good movie, and he's a pretty big part in this. So I mean, I could see this going either way.
Yeah,
I thought it could be for him.
For me, it's always like you get franchise money. That's, unless you're a guy like Harrison Ford who gets like 3 franchises.
Yeah.
Typically, if you get franchise money,
it's on your list.
Yeah, that's on your podium.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's how I look at it, at least.
Yeah. No, I did say no to the next two. I get that argument, but for the next two, especially Jennifer Lawrence, she's in a different tier, right? So she's been up for Best Actress 4 different times, and won an Oscar. So she's kind of in a different class than everybody else in this movie.
Yeah, I would say that her other franchise is her more well-known franchise anyway.
Oh no, that's fair too. Good point.
So
that's a good point.
I get that, like, she's got the big actress nods and everything, and
she's also known for Hunger
and her
Games.
other franchise is bigger.
Sure.
Is
yeah, that's fair.
She's more well known for her other franchise than this franchise.
Of
like
course.
I hear Jennifer.
That's
Lawrence,
why I feel like
that's
James
fair.
McAvoy
I think about
could
this.
be...
I volunteer as tribute. I don't think about like.
Yeah. No, I think Rebecca remains Stamos if we're going from even from that specific character.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good point. She does have another franchise that kind of supplants that. But even
like with
then,
James
I mean,
McAvoy, I feel like he's a very good actor that doesn't
Mm-hmm.
get quite the good movies.
Yeah,
like
I would agree.
Jennifer
with that.
Lawrence would.
Right. And then the last guy that I said no to was Michael Fassbender. And I guess his franchise would be the Alien movies. I really, really think that his role in those are, I mean, that movie, what was
Prometheus.
it?
What else
Prometheus. Well, Inglourious Bastards, if we're not talking.
Well, yeah, but I meant Alien movies. Yes, that's a fucking great role he has.
Well, Prometheus is part of a franchise, is what I was.
Right. Okay.
Those
were the two I thought of, was Prometheus and Glorious Bastards.
And then the one where he shows his dick the whole time, shame.
I think
I'm gonna have to check that one out.
I think it might not be as good a movie as Prometheus, but I think the role of
Magneto's role?
I think Magneto is one of those roles that if you get the role of Magneto, you're like, yes, I'm Magneto, dude. Even though like they keep doing the same stuff with him, he's still an interesting character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the same way with his character in Prometheus. Is like,
he's great in that.
Yeah, it's just such a strange. It's such a unique character in Prometheus, and he plays it very well. He's like a data. What is he, like a robot type thing?
Yeah, he's like a AI real life. Yeah, but yes, I could see either way on him.
Yeah, that's my argument. It's just that like Prometheus, he might be better in. I haven't seen Prometheus in a long time, so don't come.
I saw it in theaters, so it's been that long.
Yeah, like I think I saw it when it first came out on release, like DVD or one of the screens.
What's the movie of the meme that he's in? The Perfection meme.
That's this. It's First Class.
Yeah.
First Class. Okay.
The meme where it's 4 panels, or it's so many panels of him where he's like, I said the real best, insert the blank.
Oh,
and
that's
finally it says
Class.
Perfection. That's from First Class, Johnny.
Okay.
That is Magneto. It is the role.
Thank you. Yes.
You're welcome.
Thank you for
So there's
identifying
another argument for that.
Yeah, that meme, that could be his podium number 1.
And then I didn't really have anybody else. I think most of the people below that, like Halle Berry, has like a hot second in there. So like I didn't really go down the list of. Yeah, isn't she in the? She's in it. At
She's
the
in this.
beginning.
Yeah.
Is John fucking with us?
Yeah. She's Storm, Tommy.
She's in at the beginning. Storm's
She's
still
in it
alive.
at the beginning. She's
Yeah.
in it at the fight scene.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
She's
Yeah.
the one who
mixed up
uses
names.
lightning.
I'm sorry. Yes, thank you.
Who's that?
I
Who?
mixed up
Storm?
names.
Who's that?
I was thinking of.
You didn't say Sir Ian McKellen.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ian McKellen.
Yeah, okay. So I would say yes to him. I mean, he's not in it a ton, but I guess I said Professor
It's-
X, so.
It's role, not movie.
Yeah. He's not in this role very much, but
God
I
damn
said-
you, Kevin!
I would say
for
yes.
making this more complicated
I'd say yes,
than it
too.
originally was.
I would
'cause
say
I
yes.
was
Yeah.
not
It's
thinking
this and
about it
Lord of the
on
Rings.
this level
Yeah.
before.
I would say yes as well.
yeah,
this
this
and
and Lord of
Gandy,
the Rings.
Old Man Gandy.
Yeah, 100%. And
Yeah,
Gandalf
or,
over this.
Yeah,
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, what's
Gandalf
the?
will be the role he's remembered for.
100%.
Oh, for real? Yeah, man. What's the Tom Hanks movie? The book about
Da Vinci
the
Code?
Illuminati?
Yeah, the Da Vinci Code.
The Da Vinci Code. He's in that too. That could be,
Oh, yeah.
outside looking in, maybe.
All right, last category. We're going to finish this episode with, does this podium on your all-time mutant movie list? That'd be interesting. You can... I'm curious if anybody, how much of an imagination people use. I might have one turn there. All right, Daniel, let's hear it.
Okay, no, it does not.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
At number 3, I have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: Secret of the Ooze.
Oh.
Because
Interesting.
that's the one that hits my nostalgia button. The first one's a little
Yeah.
too dark for me.
Yeah.
The first one's definitely a better movie, but for me personally, it doesn't have the same nostalgia that the TV show does have, which
Okay.
the second movie has the same nostalgia as the TV show for me. Because it's a little bit
Okay.
lighter, a little bit brighter, a little more
Super
fun,
shiny.
has Vanilla Ice.
Vanilla Ice.
You know,
Cocoa
one doesn't have
is,
Vanilla Ice. One doesn't have
Yeah,
Kevin
it's true.
Nash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
no.
Yeah.
And Kino.
Yeah.
But-
So number 2 is X-Men First Class, which is still
Oh.
it's part of the franchise.
Yeah.
But I think I'll just like First Class better. I think First Class does a little bit better job of getting in and getting out
Yep, I agree.
than this movie does. Not that this movie's bad by any means, but it's just a little long for me.
Yep.
Yes.
And then number 1 is X2, the
Nice.
second X-Men movie. I think is
Okay.
the best X-Men movie from this franchise.
Nice. I do
Nice.
like X. That's probably 2 or 3 for me. I like X2 a lot.
Yeah, me too.
The whole Striker stuff is really cool and
Mhm.
really deep. All right, John, what do you got?
Is Toxic Avenger a
Yes.
movie?
100%.
All right. I'll put that on number 3.
Anything can
Turtles
be mutant.
1 is definitely on my podium.
Is that number 2?
Number 1.
That's correct. No, I'll put it at number 1. And I don't know what movie to put from the X-Men franchise on the podium because it revolves around mutants.
All of them.
Yeah.
Roll.
All of
This
them.
is a roll argument here.
John,
Oh,
you
roll.
gotta.
Then it's gotta
no,
be,
no,
yeah.
No, don't.
I'm using an
No.
analogy.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying, like, you're just picking X-Men as your movie, but it's really just the franchise is your
Yeah,
number
okay.
2.
So Wolverine as or
No.
No,
We're not
analogy.
doing roles.
You have to
No
talk to John like he's 5.
John,
Just
which
pick one.
X-Men movie would be number 2 on your list?
Yeah, what do you think?
no, all of them. I'm going back to all of them.
He said X2. I heard it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's 2.
X2X gonna give it to you.
Oh my.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, that's right.
Electric.
All right, Eric, what do you got?
Okay, this does not podium on my list of mutant movies.
Not surprising.
Yeah, number 3 is the 1993 smash hit about mutated genes, and that would be Jurassic Park.
Nice.
Oh,
I like what you did there.
Yeah.
Stepping outside the box.
Did I miss that one?
Yep. 1909. My number 2 is the 1909 thriller based around DNA altered sharks, so mutated sharks, and that is Deep Blue Sea.
Nice.
Did you see that movie? A shark
Yes.
ate me.
Okay, and my number one is from 1997. It's a martial arts action. You know, I saw it as a kid and I loved it. It's about a prototype human who is on the run from the people that made him, and it's called Drive. No, it's Drive.
Not 97.
97 is called. It's called Drive.
A prototype human being? What?
Okay.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
Wikipediaing this right now.
Boy, I've never heard of that.
It's Mark Dacascos, who is also known for being Iron Chef. He's the dude from Iron Chef. He is a ninja who is like, he's a robot on the inside, so he has to sleep in order to recharge himself.
Huh.
And
You're talking about the dude from Iron Chef that goes like, "Oh!"
Yes.
Okay.
He's in a movie?
Yes, this was a straight-to-video movie, Matt. That's why we don't know about it.
Damn, you got me.
I didn't think everyone would know it, but I saw it on HBO when I was a kid, and I fucking loved it.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. It actually premiered on HBO first. Like,
oh, hell yeah.
Straight to HBO, then straight to DVD.
I was probably watching Sex and the City on my blurry TV.
Say the title again.
Drive.
1997. There was another Drive movie.
Yeah, that's why I was like...
Yeah.
No, it's not that one. I love that one.
I'm so disappointed in myself that I didn't think of Jurassic Park, Eric.
I'm a bit disappointed that my number one was such a fucking wah, wah.
Well,
it's because it's not a mutant, it's a cyborg, Eric. They're different.
He is a mutated person.
He's a cyborg. You said he has to recharge. That's
but he's mutated from.
But he's part human.
That's my number one.
All right, John, you're also going to be disappointed. My number 3 was Waterworld.
Because
Kevin Costner is
that movie
got his guilt.
So bad.
I love that movie.
You love that movie.
Yes. No, that is true. That is a Matt Scott ride or die movie. Like, you love that movie unironically.
I've been on
and I don't know why, but you certainly do. Like, that's honest. That's not baiting. That's what I'm saying. You're not baiting us like Kevin.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I love that movie.
Honest.
For sure.
He found dry land.
Underrated. My number 2 is I actually picked this movie, X-Men: Days of Future Past.
Okay.
It's my favorite in the franchise. I would say it's probably this, then First Class, and then X2. So I did pick this one, but my number 1 is obvious. The OG Ninja Turtles movie. I was gonna do all Ninja Turtles, but I wasn't gonna troll, so I picked the OG at number 1. Of course.
Also, Ninja Turtles 3 is no good.
Not great.
Not good.
No, I guess I could.
Not
pick
better than the X-Men
Mutant
movies.
Mayhem.
I mean, it might. Oh, you could have picked
no,
Mutant Mayhem.
definitely
Yeah, I would have given you that. But
It
if
can
you would have said like,
definitely
TMNT 3, I would have been like, nope. X-Men, X2, First Class.
I agree.
This one, Apocalypse.
I'm realistic here.
Yeah. I would have
you
given
have
you
to
Spy
amputate.
better than that.
I'm surprised nobody. I did think about Toxic Avenger, but I didn't really like that movie very much, from what I remember.
Me either. I just know
zombie
it's
movies.
Popular movie.
Well,
a lot of people
zombie
like
movies
it. Obviously
are-
has to do with mutation.
Yeah, I mean, you could have. I was thinking like maybe Zombieland was close on mine, or any like zombie movie. I mean, that includes the mutated aspect.
Yeah,
I was trying to go down that route, but
it has to be like
top 3.
Resident Evil mutants.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Resident Evil zombies as opposed to like Night of the Living Dead zombies.
Agreed. But I just couldn't get there with any of them. So,
Matt, you were like, let's do top mutant lists, and I was like, motherfucker, I'll give you mutants. You want me to pick X-Men and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? I'm gonna give you something different.
No, I like it. I'm glad. I know I like the Jurassic Park. I mean, yeah, they're definitely mutated.
That was great.
Yeah, thank you. That was partially Julie's idea, I think. Yeah, I understand.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning into our show. Bye, John, and his new balloon. Please like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow us on your favorite social media platforms. Check out our time travel tournament. We got some good ones coming up. I think next round's going to be good between Terminator and Terminator 2. We also have a pretty big upset coming up with Army of Darkness taking down Groundhog Day by a overwhelming amount on YouTube right now. It's like 148 votes.
Wow.
And
Evil Dead
a ton
3.
of votes. And it's like 88% or something like that for Army of Darkness. So keep checking it out. Thanks for voting. We're getting some ton of votes on this. So thanks.
That's
for
awesome.
That. Yeah. So see you guys, and bye, John and his balloon.
Bye.
I'd like to thank Dave for being here.
Oh,
bye,
thanks, Dave.
They all
Thanks,
float down
thanks,
here.
Kevin.
Bye, everybody.